So today I want to talk to you about why selling your beats online might not be the most viable strategy for your music career. As you guys see behind me, I have this poster. I don't just make beats, I sync my music. You could also swap out up there, I don't just sell my beats. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I feel that that is a fairly flawed business strategy, and there's going to be a lot of problems for you if that's the path you want to take. So this is primarily geared at those of you that are producers, beat makers, and you want to sell your beats to, rappers or vocalists or something like that. I'm not saying you can't make some money in this avenue, but I want to stress how important it is to focus on long-term, full-time income, because that's ultimately what you want. You don't want just $25 here, $50 there. You want there to be thousands, multiple thousands of dollars piling up in your bank account so that you can quit your day job, right? And just do music full-time. So I did not pursue this path, but I've definitely seen a lot of people who have tried, and these are the biggest pitfalls as to why it doesn't really work for a lot of producers, okay? First of all, what is your primary job as a music producer? Well, in the job title, to produce music. That is your primary job. That's what you should be great at. That's what you should be an expert in, right? You should learn how to produce, mix, and master, research getting all your samples, making sure you have really interesting, cool, catchy hooks or melodic hooks in your tracks, really cool transitions, right? Everything music related, that's where your specialty is. That's what your area of expertise should be. What are you not? Well, you're not a marketer, okay? You're not an online salesperson. You're not an SEO expert. You're not a website designer. You're not an e-commerce manager, right? Or maybe even a social media expert, right? But all of these things are what you're going to have to become at least somewhat competent in if you want to actually start selling your beats to the marketplace, okay? Word of mouth is obviously one of the first ways to get started with your friends and colleagues and people that you know. But if you want to make enough income with this business model that you can quit your job and just get sales off of it, well, you got to go put an e-commerce website together, and there's a lot of time and tidbits of little knowledge that you're going to have to gather in order to do that. Now, once you have a great looking e-commerce website, great. Who's coming to it, right? How do you get that SEO to start to get people to come piling into your web store and find you through Google searches, etc., right? Then you need to have social media campaigns so that you start attracting people organically. Some of it you're going to probably pay for advertising campaigns, but also you probably want to not have to pay for a lot of it and create really interesting organic campaigns to get people to start following you on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, Instagram, right? So there's a lot of knowledge that goes on behind that. You have to obviously get a merchant account. You have to learn how to deal with making sure that you are complying with, are you making sure that you're creating everything that you have from commercially available sounds and libraries, right? Because you don't want to be caught selling music to people that you were not authorized to use in a commercial sense to resell. You're opening yourself up to legal liabilities. Are you ready to go get a lawyer? So you guys can see that, going down that path, it's going to require, I'm not saying it's impossible, but as you can see, there are just a lot of layers of things that have nothing to do with actually creating music, right? Creating music is pretty much step one, but to get to that point where you're making that kind of income, you have to have all that training, all that knowledge. And I know most of you are not really interested in doing any of that stuff. You just want to make music, right? That's why I got into TV film licensing, because it opened up an opportunity for me just to create music and not have to worry about any of that stuff. None of that stuff I had to worry about, okay? So that's the first thing. All the skills you're going to have to add. Now, let's say that you are one of the very few producers that do have the sort of business mindset, the time, right? And maybe the resources to be able to gain all that knowledge, or maybe partner with somebody that can do a lot of that for you. So you create it, you're doing well, you have a lot of natural organic reach, you have an e-commerce website that's doing well, and you're marketing it perfectly, right? Well, the problem is that most rappers, singers, artists, people who are looking for beats, do they have huge budgets to be able to pay a lot of money for music? No, you guys already know that. At the most, they're willing to spend a couple of $100 on a track. That's probably at the most. I would say less than 1% of artists are ever going to be willing to pay $500, $1,000 or more for a piece of music, even if it's going to be exclusively released to them. You're just not going to find a lot of artists that have those kinds of budgets. Most people are on shoestring budgets. They can barely afford to pay their bills as is. So if you come along saying, hey, here's 250, my track for 250 bucks, people are going to say no thanks. They're going to go to the cheaper place, try to find something for 20 bucks, 50 bucks. That's just where the market is. So even if you do spend all that time putting this entire organization together, you're chasing a marketplace that's looking for the smallest amount of money that they can put forward to get music, okay? They're not really looking to spend a lot of money. So you're going to be basically chasing the lowest common denominator, chasing it's all going to be about volume, right? Which means you have to spend a lot of time getting new customers and chasing new customers. So again, all that effort is going to take you away from producing music. You're going to spend a lot more time getting more and more people to show up because each person's only paying you 20 bucks, 50 bucks per track, okay? So a big problem there. And then lastly, the biggest issue that I find with this strategy is that you're not opening up the door to earning royalties with this situation, because most artists who come to a platform or a site like that looking to get music, they do not want to owe you any royalties on the back end. So for the most part, you're going to have to give up all back end royalties, all back end interest to the music that you're selling to them, which means that they basically get to completely take any back earned royalties that they earn. Let's say they get a little viral hit, they get some views, they get a radio spot, they get a TV licensing deal, something like that. Well, you've probably in your contracts are going to have to give them 100% ownership over that. So it's royalty free. You don't take any back end money. So again, the long-term income from doing work one time is just not there. You can obviously sell probably the same beat multiple times, but again, for $25 each, maybe $50 each, and you're gonna have to spend so much time and energy and maybe money to get those sales that it's probably not gonna see a lot of long-term potential for you, okay? This is why I've avoided that whole side of the industry of selling beats, of trying to get tracks to artists and rappers and that kind of thing. Just because I don't see the viability in it long term. Short term, sure, you could probably make a couple of bucks here and there. But the reason why TV film licensing is so much, to me, more lucrative and promising is that you can basically produce one track, right? You keep the royalties, right? You should be keeping your writer's share. Sometimes you even also get to keep some of the publisher's share depending on your contracts with the library. And then that one track can be placed in 100 different TV shows, 200 different TV shows. I've actually had a video on this channel, I'll link it below, where one track got 257 placements and growing. There's actually more now since that video was posted. So 257 different times one track actually earned royalties, okay? And no ownership had to be given over in terms of that you don't earn any more back-end royalties. So the royalties are still going to that songwriter. And for you, if you want to get started in this industry, that's the kind of exponential, long-term passive income that's possible for you with TV film music licensing. You're just not going to see that by selling your beats. Okay, that's just not a possibility. It might be possible that you could structure some of your maybe lower priced tracks so that you keep some royalties, but then you're now in the nightmare of, okay, let's say they register the song under a new title, they cut you out of it, they get a placement, they're making money. Now you got a legal battle, right? You got to go hunt them down, you got to go find them. It's just a nightmare, right? With TV film music licensing, when you get accepted by a music library, they register your tracks. You can log in to BMI, ASCAP, whoever your PRO is. You can see that the track's been attributed to you under the title that you sent to them, and then you can now track that. You can use TuneSat. There's a couple of websites you can actually track your placements, but in some ways, you actually just have to wait until you get your royalty statements, but then you can actually see transparently, wow, this track that I gave to this library got 13 different placements last quarter. That's awesome. And that's money. That's passive income money growing into your bank account. And while you're earning those royalties in the background of your career, you're continuously growing your catalog and putting out new music and giving that to those libraries that you're partnered with. Of course, all of this has to be done by creating high quality, licensable music. You guys know that. And you need to be partnering with libraries that can actually get you both quantity and quality of placements, okay? Even if they're getting tons and tons of placements, but each placement's like, 10 cents, 20 cents, they're not really big lucrative opportunities. that's not going to be full-time income for you. You need to be getting some more prime time, some better, higher rated cable programming placements, and also some more featured placements, but also stacking up just the numbers of the amount of tracks that you get placed. That's the path and the strategy that I've taken on for my career. It's what got me started in this industry 11 years ago now, and it's what's kept me employed full time so that I didn't have to go get a day job and keep hustling to try to sell beats or be a part of any of that nonsense. I basically get to skip the rat race. I don't have to worry about SEO, social media, marketing to people with my music. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I have direct relationships with people who get my tracks placed into TV shows, movies, and commercials. If you have not gone through my free 5-day course, this is what you need to do. Click on the link below in the description box. It's going to walk you through the process of how to get started, how to determine whether or not your tracks are licensable, how to start finding those companies that are legit and can get you those kind of placements. And I'll also give you the sort of overview of how this industry works. Now is the time to get involved with this. More and more producers are starting to discover that, the selling your beats thing, chasing a bunch of social media that rat race is not being fruitful for a lot of producers. And when they stumble across this side of the business, they get super excited and they start pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into TV film. We call it production music for this industry. So do not wait on this. Don't think, I'll check it out next year. This year, no. Whatever you're doing now in your career, you should be adding TV film music licensing to your arsenal, which you absolutely can do. It doesn't have to be an either or thing. But if you're not building some catalog for this industry, you're literally saying goodbye to tens of thousands of potential dollars in back-end royalties. Also upfront sync fees. There's upfront money in this industry and back-end. This is why I think it's one of the last industries that's available for us producers that are willing to do what it takes to make this our full-time job. So I encourage you, don't wait, get started and enroll in that free course today. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you found this useful. Share it with a friend if you think they would be benefiting from this kind of information. And please do subscribe because I put out really useful, interesting videos like this every single week.